Okay, so I'm on my way to a photo shoot with the EB. So that sort of signifies the end of this mini restoration. Uh, I didn't plan on it getting this far out of control. It's not out of control, but we end up doing a lot more than we first anticipated. And I've got to admit, this is a car I really have a soft spot for. And yeah, it's just something I've always wanted to do. And now you just see the you'll see the outcome in this video. Guys, we're back from the photo shoot, so now I'm going to go through and show you all the things we've done since we've done that mechanical restoration not too long ago. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link down in the description and you can go back to that one. Maybe a little bit boring, but there's some very handy tips on E-Series and what to look out for when you buy one of these vehicles. In this video, I'm going to go through all the aesthetics now and all the visual improvements we've done to this vehicle. And I think you'll see at the end how much this car has actually changed. Okay, so we'll go through pretty much, I guess we'll cut this into two, interior and exterior. And most importantly, when we first got this car, it was very obvious the previous owners or owner had a pet in the vehicle. There was a lot of pet hair. Funnily enough, it wasn't it wasn't just seen in the obvious areas. It was all tucked away. So first things first was if you come around, I won't open the boot because it's pretty boring, but I'll show you what we had to do. We actually literally pulled I was trying to keep everything original, mind you, in this car. So I didn't want to just go buy a boot mat for the sake of buying a boot mat. So we pulled the boot mat out. There's obviously signs of it. A lot of wear and tear. Obviously it smelled. So just in the boot mat itself was a lot of vacuuming, and you can see we even used some clippers to trim the excess fluff off that, just to sort of get it back to some sort of normality. I probably won't show you the final product because I've got all the junk in the back left over from the car. But yeah, you can see so you could sort of see where we were going with the sort of detailing side restoration on this vehicle. Okay, with any, I guess, when you're buying a used car in general, the first thing you do is obviously the cleaning of the interior. We pulled all the seats out of this car, hence, as I mentioned earlier, it did have a lot of pet hair in it, and the parcel shelf was very heavily contaminated as well, from what we can see. And I don't even know how some of the fur or fluff got into some of these crevices. So everything got pulled out of the interior. We shampooed all the carpets, while the seats were out. And what we also noticed when we did this car was the roof lining had been done, but had been done in a different material and it wasn't obviously the correct color for the vehicle. So we sourced the original fabric from Global Trim, and then I had Jason from Royal Custom Trimming come and reinstall that. So that all sort of flows inside here as per original now. Also, you would have noticed in the first video, the seats were quite badly damaged. Obviously, it's this car's done 330,000 Ks, so you can imagine getting in and out of the car for that many kilometers. That the bolsters were quite badly cracked, and even to the point where some of the leather was missing. So I don't know if you can come in here, and we'll show you a close up. Perth Leather has, restored these bolsters and refinished them. This was the worst one, and we did the other side as well. That wasn't as bad, but you can see that now it all just looks nice, and it just sort of flows now, so it doesn't look as bad. It's not perfect, but it's not going to be, and I didn't want it that way because you still got your sort of some cigarette burns here, but these are all very minimal in the scheme of the whole vehicle. You can see how good these door trims are. Nothing's been done, it's just been cleaned. Eventually one day we might even refinish these as well. If you want to come in closer here, we also had Jason from Real Custom Trimming redo the leather on the steering wheel. Obviously, this is a Fairmont Ghia, so they had a leather wrap steering wheel. We did look at sourcing, obviously, a Momo, but if you know these cars, you know the cost of those are quite high, and I actually like the idea of keeping it original, because this is what it had. We refinished these as well as we could. Obviously, they always fade, go white and crack. And while we're there, if you can see this, just come in there, all these always go white, and that button there. So we've just added some color in there, so it just all sort of flows in. While you're there, you'll see we've put an Alpine deck in, and pure and simply because this says Alpine premium sound, and I had a Pioneer deck, and because I've got OCD, I couldn't have a Pioneer deck on top of an Alpine logo. So ideally, I would have loved to keep it. I would have loved to have got an original deck for the car. I found a couple and missed out on them. So ultimately, long term, if we're going to keep the car, it'd be nice to put the original premium sound in there, because it does have the amp in the back with the subwoofers, the subwoofer and speakers, obviously in the doors. On that note, we did change the speakers in the doors and the parcel shelf, because they were done. They were literally just falling apart. So we just to have some sort of sound in the car, to listen to the radio. So you see, but we utilised the original shells, or the original grills on the speakers as well, so they still look factory in the back. So while we're also in the interior, we had the console out. So I gave that a good detail underneath and all through the aircon ducts underneath there. So, funnily enough, trying to find a armrest for one of these is a bit of a mission. And when you do find one, they want stupid money for them. But we found a nice one over east and got that sent over. I did a little sort of TikTok reel as well when we polished sort of the center indicator. I'll put that up as well. All these small little things, I think, make a big difference once you start putting everything together. Okay, so what is obviously the most obvious thing that you need to do when you're modifying a car or improving it or making it look better is suspension. So you can already see we've lowered this car. But with that, we just didn't want to just do springs. We knew that the suspension, even though it did look like it had been attended to at some point, because everything that came out of this car was a Nolothone bush. But I replaced all the front bushes and ball joints with Super Pro bushes and new ball joints, and obviously the lowered springs. First bought this car, the most noticeable thing was that it had an ED grille and it was missing the lower factory spoiler. Also, it had clear indicators, and it had aftermarket front headlights. So with that, my first thing was to bring it back to EB spec. So we located a grille. Also tried to find an original factory lower lip, which was almost impossible. So we've just settled on the replica one, the replica fiberglass one, but I'll get more into the painting of that and that a bit later. Also, this car had clear indicators, which was a common upgrade at the time, but it had non-genuine headlights, and obviously they were non-genuine either. So the third thing I did was source another set of indicators. I did buy a set from Rest Bears. I mounted them and they were terrible. The color was terrible and the fitment was also terrible. So again, back on Marketplace, I managed to find a original set of headlights and an original set of orange indicators literally around the corner from my house, for a price that was reasonable, for these sorts of things. So we've brought it all back to factory EB, OEM headlights and indicators. And we also did the same for the rear. They were cracked and taking in water, so I managed to find an original set of rear tail lights. So so being a detailer, while I had these lights out, we took the opportunity to clean around that battery area on either side there. Just some build up of grime and dirt over time. It's one of those things, while you're there, why don't you just clean it? And again, it adds to, I guess, the overall appearance and, presentation for the vehicle long term. While we're on that area, I'll just pop the bonnet, because as we do, this was already quite clean in here, but just little bits and pieces, like we found a few, original style decals that was missing, so we found those and put those in. Found a fuse box or relay cover, again, just to finish off that engine bay. We also found, coincidentally, I had an EB GT in here, had the customers in here, and a friend of the customer, and he had a actual battery box with the factory snorkel, which mine was missing. So thanks to James for that. Again, I think that just adds to the overall, factory look of the car and just a general clean. But yeah, aesthetically, you can see that, it just looks all nice and factory, and as clean as we got. We touched up a bit of paint as well where it was missing, but overall it's just a good clean inside there, and just replace some decals and, a few plastic bits and pieces. What was also very noticeable about this car when we first got it was it didn't have much paint on it. Someone's already obviously, being the age that it is, the amount of times it's probably been polished. There were a couple of areas where it was quite thin, and on the paint of this vehicle, it was just a discussion with a customer of mine, Brad from Rail Customs. You would have seen his cars on my channel already. We just got into a conversation, and he was happy to take on the job. And I told him what I wanted, and he went over all my expectations on actually what I wanted to do on this car. So I want to say thank you to him for helping me get to the car to this point, because he did more than expected, and it's come out really, really good. And like I said before, with the front lip, he actually went to the trouble of he's gone to the trouble of actually tying it all into the bumper, so there is no gaps in terms of how if you come just around here, you can see it's just been all integrated into the front bumper. If anyone knows, these replica spoilers, they don't fit well. We put a kit on the EL, and it was very ordinary in terms in some areas we had to cut it and rejoin it. This one fit not bad, but Brad's made it fit absolutely perfect. So I won't get into the details, but he's made it work, and it looks really, really good. I was at Rail Customs. We took the opportunity to paint all the sort of moldings and stuff that we pulled off the car. We, if you can see here, remember these were, yeah, they were definitely pretty bad. So we've painted those. We've painted the wipers. Um, uh, we've actually had a few friends that sourced us some new little caps as well. Also, we polished all the black trim, which actually brings it up, but then we actually used a trim restorer as well to just give it that nice sort of factory finish. While it was at Brad's, we also restored the factory rims as nice as possible, I suppose, so to speak. Yeah, just we had them off, so just gave the faces a nice repaint and just polished up the outer lips as best as we could. When the car got back from Rouse, Brad and I got to wet sanding it, and just to get I guess we tried to match the factory texture. So because a lot of some of the panels on this car are still obviously original paint, so we wanted everything to sort of flow the same. So we did a bit of a wet sand on all the panels that were painted and have it texture matched to the rest of the car. So once that was done, now we get into all the final details and the last bits and pieces. I suppose the tinsel on the Christmas tree, so to speak. So with paint and polish done, we start putting all the nice trims back on it. I must say, removing the factory stripes and the factory chrome up here was very, very hard to do. But we got it done. We got it done, and then we've actually replaced. I've actually put the stripe back on because I think it really finishes off the car, and I really do think that the chrome moldings, which is a tape, so we Global Trim supplied us with the chrome moldings front to back on the bumpers, but they also can supply like a chrome tape that replicates the moldings that go here, because you can't buy these new, and it's very, very hard to find a second-hand set. So I think all those things are necessary in terms of keeping a nice factory look. I used an EL Sapphire stripe kit because I couldn't find one for this car, but it is almost identical to what the factory stripe kit looks like, and it's a bit more of a cost-effective solution. Okay, so what was never really in the plan for this car were these wheels. It's more of a right place, right time. We had all 4-day here a couple of months ago. Global Trim was on their way, and they had an offer that I literally couldn't refuse. We've got another 2 cars these wheels can go on. So I thought one way or another, these wheels will make good use of them. So, but I think now that we've seen this car with these wheels on them, yeah, I'm not sure I would want to take them off. Even though I love the factory look, these 19-inch EB GT wheels from Global Trim, they just really finish the car off quite nicely now. Speaking of the EB GT, you'll notice I'm wearing this is the Cardinal Red version of the EB GT shirt that is currently in our store. We also have the cobalt blue and the black pearl available to buy in our online store. So please, if you're into the E series and the EB GT, please visit the store and purchase a shirt. It goes to helping the channel as well. Okay, so that pretty much concludes the mini restoration on my EB Fairmont Ghia 5-litre. I mean, there's always going to be other small bits and pieces that we want to do with this car. Possibly, a set of extractors and high flow cats maybe in the new year, and maybe a few bits and pieces, but very, very small stuff. I just thought, once you sort of do your paint, your polish, and your wheels, that's pretty much, that's a sign off on pretty much close to the end. Even though there's never an ending on these sort of cars, but enough to warrant sending this video out. So I hope you enjoyed the mini restoration on this EB Fairmont Ghia, and I hope you learnt a few things along the way also, as I did. So please, if you have any other thoughts, leave them in the comments. And if you know anyone that likes these sort of cars and would like to follow along on future restorations, please share them the video and the previous videos, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.